Okay, I know you're sitting on the edge of your seats because today we're doing something different. Instead of just talking about content strategy, I'm going to actually teach you some of my repurposing methods live today on this podcast. I'm going to show you exactly how to take one podcast episode and turn it into a full month of strategic content. Hi there, friends. If you are new here, welcome or welcome back to the Content Systems for Growth podcast. I'm Michelle Dewey, and I help health and wellness coaches turn their healing wisdom into consistent, strategic content that actually reaches the people who need it the most. So, if you're a coach who creates incredible content but feels like it disappears into the void after you've hit published, this episode is for you. Your healing insights deserve to reach more people than just your immediate audience. Go ahead and grab that notebook because we're going to dive deep into the exact system I use with my wellness clients to multiply their content impact without multiplying their workload. Are you ready to get started? The problem: content that dies after one post or content that dies after you have a group coaching. Here's what I see happening all the time. You record an amazing podcast episode, let's say about gut health, or you write a detailed post about the nervous system regulation, and then it lives and dies in one place. Maybe you share it once on Instagram and you send it out to your newsletter, and then that's it. All that valuable healing wisdom gets buried while your ideal clients are still searching for exactly what you just taught, but they missed it because, let's say, it's on Instagram and the algorithm just did not pick it up. Or they find you 3 months later and it's buried in your podcast episodes and they don't go back 24 episodes to listen. The problem, friend, isn't your content, it's that you're just not maximizing its reach and the impact. So let's just make it real. I want you to picture that last amazing post that you created and you see it in your mind. Is it small? Is it far away? Is it dim? Is it almost faded? Now imagine turning that brightness up and make it bigger, bring it closer. Notice how it feels more impactful to you. That's exactly what repurposing does. It changes how your audience experiences your wisdom without you having to create more from scratch every single time. And the solution? It's strategic content repurposing. I know, yada, yada, yada. People talk about it all over the place, but sometimes people just don't even know how to do it well. So, what if I told you that one piece of content could actually work for your entire month? That one episode could become 8 to 10 strategic social media posts, a comprehensive blog post that ranks in search with your SEO and keywords in there. 4 weeks of newsletter content, multiplying your social media, yes, but specifically your Instagram stories and your reels. Or you can even create a LinkedIn article for that professional visibility if that's in your niche as well, all without having to create anything new from scratch. Right? That's the power of strategic repurposing. I'm about to show you exactly how to do it. Here's a live example from one idea to 30 days of content, what that would actually look like. So let's use a real example, a real question. Imagine you're a functional nutrition coach and your topic is the hidden causes of afternoon energy crashes, right? Oh my gosh, so many people deal with that, right? On an ongoing basis. They're always tired in the afternoon after they've eaten and they're sluggish. Well, step one is you create your foundational content. By foundational content, that's your long form content, that piece of content that lasts a really long time. That's how I like to look at it. I also have main content. I have so many different names, but it's the foundation. It's what everything else is built on. Your foundational piece could be a 20-minute podcast episode that you cover 3 main causes: blood sugar, adrenals, and nutrient deficiencies. How that shows up differently for each person, what your simple solutions are, and a client success story. This becomes your content gold mine, or what I like to call your content gold nuggets. Step two, extract your content pillars. from this one episode, you can pull multiple different angles out of it. Your blood sugar stability. So think of it as your content outline. When you create that outline for your podcast, think of that like I always think of it as a heading to, you probably don't think of it that way because it's more of a like an SEO blog rating thing, but your heading two that has your heading threes underneath it. Those are the things that I'm talking about pulling out. So it's like the big header and the smaller header underneath it, or the big header and the bullet points underneath it, whatever. But that's how I vision it when I see it, when I'm writing it out. So your blood sugar stability, you have your social. You can have 3 signs your energy crash is blood sugar related. You can write a newsletter, that blood sugar roller coaster explained. And then you can do a blog that's you coming based off of that podcast episode, that one section, and you can just deep dive into it a little bit more, giving more information and really hitting on those keywords that people would be searching for on Google or an AI to find answers about blood sugar stability. Adrenal health. For your social, why coffee isn't fixing your 3 p.m. slump. So many people are drinking caffeine in the afternoon, and that is not helping anything. You can create an Instagram story of adrenal friendly afternoon routine so they can get away from that coffee in the afternoon. You know what I mean? And maybe you are on LinkedIn, and that can be the executive's guide to sustained energy because every executive has to make so many decisions in a day and they need to have sustainable energy. And the last thing could be your nutrient support. So, for your social, the mineral deficiency behind your fatigue. Your newsletter would be supplemental spotlight for energy support. And your blog can be testing versus guessing with nutrients. Step 3 is just to create that content calendar now that you have things mapped out. Week 1 can be your awareness. Monday is your social introduction. Wednesday is your newsletter with your causes. And Friday is a reel with 3 culprits that may be facing it. Week 2 is all about education. Monday is your blood sugar post. Wednesday is your newsletter with meal timing to help with that blood sugar regulation, or maybe foods that they need to put in their meals in order to have more of a stable blood sugar. And Friday could be your story series on adrenal habits that they can put in place for themselves. Week 3 is solutions. So Monday could be a nutrient post. Wednesday to your newsletter is all about supplements that you recommend and take yourself. Friday is client stories, and that can be in your reels. Week 4 is all about the integration. So Monday is putting it all together, like all of those things that you've talked about for the past month. What's that post? Wednesday is a weekly action plan newsletter, giving them actions to take that they can actually implement in the next month to feel better in the afternoon with their energies. Friday can be just a Q&A post or story, like what questions have you gotten from your subscribers or your followers on all of this content you've been creating for the last month. That's the perfect place to put in your Q&A or add in that story and ask people for their questions that they have, and you can go ahead and answer it later in a post. That's the system that makes this all work. So here's the streamlined process that I use with my clients. You want to do a content audit. Start with what's working. What questions are you asked most? What posts already are resonating with people? Look at your podcast analytics. What are the most downloaded episodes? That leaves clues, friends. That totally leaves clues on what people are resonating with. Number 2 is batch creation. So block time to pull out the angles all at once. I like to do that once a month because it's when my energy is the most high. It's when I feel the best when I'm creating my content. I don't feel like that every single month. And I'm going to guess you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And your energy ebb and flows with the month as well. You want to list those key points that you have in that batch creation. That outline that I talked about before. You want to have segments of your audience. Maybe that's different people on different platforms or how they engage with you. Note the platform format that you're going to be on and plan out that calendar. Step three is your template system. So have a plug and play structure or a content formula. I like to call them content formulas. They're just like repeatable, like content formulas that you put together that make content creation easy for like 12 weeks. You can just have 12 different content formulas and you just follow that formula every single quarter, every single quarter, every single quarter. Well, I guess if you're going to do quarters, I think you have to do 13 weeks in order to end up being correctly. But you know what I mean. You have those content formulas for your post, your newsletter, your blog, your stories. You're staying consistent. You're talking about the same thing all week long. This removes that decision fatigue that you're running into with your content creation. You're already running a business. You have enough decisions that you need to make. You need to make your content the way people find you as easy as possible. So that energy, that high energy that you have when you're creating it, comes through easy and without effort. Strategic scheduling. Move your audience from awareness to education to the solution to just integrating it in your life. That's how you build the momentum. So many coaches feel torn. Like part of them wants to serve their clients live, and part of them wants to just teach through their content. But I want you to ask yourself, what does part of you have that the other part wants, if that makes sense? Or what does part A have that part B wants? And what does part B have that part A wants? Like maybe that makes a little bit more sense. When you're divided like that, when you integrate those different parts in the way that you're feeling, you realize creating once and repurposing allows you to serve both deeply with your clients and broadly with your audience and make it sustainable for your practice. The key is fitting it into your life stages. So if you're a solo coach or solo entrepreneur, you want to batch monthly. You want to use simple tools like Trello or Asana to keep you on track with all the tasks that need to happen. You want to focus on that main or long living platform or that foundational content and one short life or short form platform, like Instagram or Facebook or wherever you like to show up on social media. And you want to repurpose those client insights, like pull those gold nuggets that you get from your clients and put it in your content. You want to grow if you're growing your practice. You've got maybe a team member, executive VA that's on your staff. You want to document those processes. You want to create reusable templates and you want to invest in scheduling tools and you want to track what's driving inquiries into your business. You want to find out how people are finding you and you want to double down on that. Scaling your practice. You've delegated or you've hired content support. You want to stay high level on strategy. You want to let your team handle the execution. This is the thing I see a lot. Like when I read through, because I'm an online business manager as well. So if I read through applications that people will put in for online business management, so many of the reasons why they're looking to hire as an OBM is because they're ready to get out of the day-to-day operations. They need to step away so they can really focus on the high level growth of their business. That's what happens when you need to scale. So you need to let go and let your team handle that execution so you can focus on actually scaling your business. You need to measure your ROI on your content investment because you want to make sure that you're getting something back for all that time and energy that you're putting into your content creation. Okay, friends, so I just want you to think how you felt completely lit up when you were teaching a client. I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. I want you to hear it right now. That's the state you want to anchor for your content creation. So next time you sit down to repurpose, I want you to fire off that anchor, recall that energy and bring it into that workflow. Because if it's draining you, that recalled energy can help fire you back up again. Okay, so what's your next step on this? I want you to choose your foundational content, whether that's a blog post, a YouTube video, or a podcast. I really personally think that a podcast is so easy because you don't have to worry about when you're recording or how you're recording, but you also have the option with a YouTube where you can take those videos and repurpose it, or maybe you just do like I do and you record the podcast episode. That's a video and then you actually take and break it up from there. You get to pick. It's your business. You get to choose. And then you're going to map out your month. You're going to create those templates, or you're going to find your perfect content formula for your favorite formats or the places that you show up. You're going to test, you're going to refine, and you're going to repeat. Okay, so friends, here is your successful coaching framework. Your to do that I want you to do is batch your next foundational pieces of content for the next month. I know some people don't like to do it, but just give it a whirl. See if it works for you. When you have the most energy to create that content, you can block it off on your calendar. If you don't know, start tracking your energy. When do you feel the most fired up to create content? That's always a good time and a good place to start. Your short-term goal is using that one foundational piece to fuel your whole month of content. And just think, like, it's just going to keep going and going and going and building and building and building. Just think of how much content you're going to have out there. And because the good thing is, you're going to run into seasons maybe when you're not able to create, but you're going to have all this content that you've been building up and building up and building up. And your long-term outcome is to can have consistent visibility that gives you more clients to serve when you have more visibility. Do you want help with all of this? If you're thinking, Michelle, this sounds amazing, but I don't have time to implement it. That's exactly why I created my Done For You content repurposing services for wellness coaches. I take your podcast episode, your foundational content, and your client insights, and I turn them into strategic multi-platform content that gives you that much desire omnipresent across all of that marketing platforms, that you reach your ideal clients where they're at, all written in your voice, all aligned to your healing approach. You can then focus on transforming those lives, the reason why you got into coaching to begin with. I make sure your wisdom reaches the right people who need it the most. If you want to learn any more about my services, I'll go ahead and put the link down below in the show notes. Final thoughts for you today, friend, because it's time to wrap this up. Your wisdom is too valuable to share just one time. I know, because I used to do the same thing. You don't want to do that. Repurposing isn't just about saving time. It's about making sure your insights actually reach the people who need them the most. When you combine strategy with alignment and the right systems, you'll experience more of that I can do that satisfaction with your consistency, visibility, and impact. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, one great idea can fuel a whole month of content when you have the right system in place. I'll see you next week, friends. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you, and I hope you make it a wonderful week.
Yay! Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you found this episode valuable and learned some actionable tips that you can implement in your business so that you can feel accomplished and less stressed. If you enjoyed this show, please take a quick minute to share this with your business bestie, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps me reach more business owners just like you. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future episodes, please reach out to me on my website. I've created a form just for you. Remember, with the right system and mindset, you can achieve the success your heart desires. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to chatting with you next time. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And don't forget, let's grow, friends.